You know, there's something special about a family business that is passed down from one generation to the next. The younger generation wants to make sure that they continue the legacy that was built by the previous generation.
Yeah, and what that means is they're not going to do anything to ruin a reputation that took decades to build. Case in point, Robinson's family of businesses. I recently visited the Salisbury store and found out how a legacy is not just continuing, it's growing. Clocks, watches, and jewelry have been in John Robinson's family for generations, a trade his grandfather started in Germany and then brought to the United States.
There's one thing for sure is that I've always wanted to do what I do. Even when I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to do the clocks and the jewelry. Even though my parents didn't want me to, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
And he did. Robinson continues the family tradition at his Salisbury store, but he does a whole lot more than clocks, watches, and jewelry.
Oh yeah, you can't make money just doing clocks and watch repair anymore. You just can't. So we've branched out into different areas.
One of those areas is embroidery.
My wife's family did embroidery. They had these big old computerized machines back in the day, and they did lots of embroidery, and that was kind of the family business for her. So when I married her, I married kind of into that business.
And as that business grew, John expanded to include printing and engraving. That includes banners, shirts, business cards, vehicles, you name it. He says what sets Robinson's apart from other printing businesses is it's all done in-house, even the graphic design, and that means savings for the customers.
We have graphic artists on staff here. We have 2 of them now. The huge thing is the setup fees. We don't do that. We just kind of incorporate that into the jobs because we're so busy, and we just have somebody that's always burning screens and always cleaning screens and doing that.
There is a lot involved in screen printing shirts on the front end of the project, starting with the design.
Just draw it on a piece of paper, a napkin, it doesn't matter, and come on in and show us, and we'll perfect it for you.
That design is burned onto screens that are placed on the screen printing machine. Each of these rotating panels is assigned a color, and that color ink is pushed through design screens. Once the ink is transferred onto the shirt, it's run through a large dryer to cure the inks.
And screen printing is the best way to go when you're printing because the ink lasts forever. I mean, the inks we use are really good inks. They're high-end plastisol inks, so they really soak into the material.
Robinsons keep the designs on file so that they can be used for more shirts down the road, or if you want to make other printed materials.
We do everything here. We do our banners here, we do our signs here, and we do our cards here. We do all of our printing here in one spot, and the embroidery. So the nice thing is it all matches. You're not trying to get the colors to match from one place to the other. We do it all in one spot.
John says to get the design embroidered on an item requires it to be digitized, and that can sometimes cost a little extra. But that the variety of items the design can be embroidered to is huge.
Oh, we embroider everything. We embroider horse blankets, hats. We even embroider people's shoes, like kids that are playing soccer. We embroider their cleats for them. We embroider, I mean, you name it, we embroider it. I mean, it's just everything. And from huge orders, from like, 300 to 400 items for one company, down to one item for a family.
And if that's not enough, you can have your design engraved.
Laser engrave, which means we can engrave wood, glass, you name it. And then we also rotary engrave, and that's huge in the pewter end of the business. So we can engrave metals, everything, insides of rings, but everything. We can literally print or engrave anything that's out there.
Although Robinson's has expanded since it was first brought to America by John's German grandfather, it's on track to stay in the family for generations to come. John's son David and daughter Jenna are making sure of that.
My kids now own the businesses. My daughter owns the printing end of the business, and my son owns the other side, which is the coins and the jewelry and the clock end. So they have them both together, but they're young. But they've been in the business forever, kind of like me.